Hi, I'm Julie Tarsha. I'm an artist living in the Sonoran Desert, speaking to you from Phoenix, Arizona. So I've always been a creator, but like many artists, I kind of shoehorned in time for creation into the spare moments of my life. I didn't start painting full time until 2014 when I retired from nursing. As a nurse, I had a specialty in palliative care, where it was my job to help patients and their families grapple with those end-of-life existential issues. And it created in me such an understanding of living my purpose and the importance of self-discovery and acceptance. Art for me is about making sense of my life. I think about things like, who am I? What's important to me? I focus on my health and my well-being, rejuvenation, feathering my nest, surrounding myself with beauty, and having this meditative art practice that serves me. I'm just so grateful to have this time of life to explore my creativity and nurture myself through my creative pursuits. As a child, I spent a lot of time visiting my grandparents in their Tucson, Arizona desert home. My grandfather was a naturalist, a rock collector. He had a great affection for the desert. He claimed that tarantulas visited him at his back door every evening. And when we would visit, he would bring one of the tarantulas to the kitchen table and have it walk all over his arms as we just looked on in absolute horror. So this was such an influence on me as a child. I felt like my grandparents' desert undeveloped acre that they lived on was just a place of such mystery. There were shards of pottery from Indian populations that had lived there in the past. We would build forts out of ocotillo sticks. We would chase and try to catch horny toads. So when I get into my studio, I feel like I'm going back to that time where there was so much magic and it was such a time of creativity. In my studio, I tack up large sheets of rolled canvas on my studio walls and I paint larger than myself. I do start with loud music so that I can dance and bring my whole physical self into that free creation. But it reminds me of when I was a child and the world was larger than myself. It's like kind of creating my own world that surrounds me. My biggest influences currently are the contemporary artists that I've studied with. San Francisco artist Jane Burton opened up such possibilities to me with her large abstract expressionist work. I remember just seeing her work and wondering to myself, could I ever do that? And when I spoke this to Jane, her reaction was, why wouldn't you? I also studied with David Limright, California artist, who worked with me in a small group and helped me to develop a consistent practice for my work, which really served me well. So my work always begins in the desert. I do paint about the desert. I paint abstractly, and it always starts in the desert where I go out and gather information. I collect little bits of nature, seed pods, leaves. I draw what I see, blind contour drawings. I take note of the textures. I mix the desert palettes to match the bits of nature that I bring home to my studio. And all of this information sifts through me and then comes out into my large abstract paintings. One of the biggest challenges of being an artist, I believe, is getting comfortable with failure. I've heard it said that nothing can be both new and perfect at the same time. And I don't think there's anything that could be truer than that. It often takes a lot of repetition to develop what you want to visually say. What advice would I give to my younger self? Well, it's the same advice that I give to my artist granddaughter, Jaden. Don't quit your daydream. You are meant to create, so do that. The best reaction that someone has had to my artwork was in reference to a large, colorful cactus abstract painting that was installed in a condo unit in downtown Phoenix. And one of the residents wrote me and said, "I see this work every day, and I always stop because it gives me so much joy. Thank you, Julie." And my gosh, if my work inspires anyone in any way that they need, then I'm absolutely gratified. You can find more about my work on my website or on Instagram, both at Julie Tarsha Art. Coming up in June and October of 2024, I'll be assisting Jane Burton in teaching her 5-day Fearless Abstraction workshop at the Santa Fe Artist Getaway. Applications open in January 2024. And I have to tell you, it's been one of the more transformative experiences for me. I would just absolutely love to see you there. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to you about my art.